Hi, I'm hanspetermeyer, and I'm talking to Betty Ann Juba here at the world headquarters of Lush Valley, Comox Valley. But the reason I'm talking to you is because you are involved in affordable housing issues in the valley, and you have been for a long time.
Yes.
So, and that's one of the pillars of the sustainability strategy is housing in neighborhoods. You had a look at the draft goals and objectives for them?
Absolutely. I've read the report.
And you were involved
each time.
And you were involved in the working group, right?
I was involved in the working group with the food.
Ah.
But many of my cohorts are involved in the housing, so I had to make a choice.
Right.
And they wouldn't allow me to be involved in both.
Right. Okay. And I'm talking to you today as part of something related to the strategy, but it's what we're calling a 3x2x8 conversation. So everybody that I talk to gets asked the same 3 questions. And if we have time at the end, then I'm interested in the connections you see between food and housing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, what excites you about what you see in the goals and objectives?
When I take a look at the goals and objectives, they are the goals and objectives that Comox Valley Affordable Housing has been talking to elected council members, to staff, and to the community for almost going on 5 years now.
Right.
And to actually see it written down by a community of over 100 people all involved in this, and you're looking at the table that was with housing, which was just one table away from where I was sitting, and how interested and exuberant people were and passionate about wanting to get their ideas down on paper.
Wow. So you're seeing confirmation of all the work you've been doing?
Yes, I'm extremely pleased, and it was difficult for me to make a choice between the two. And if I would have known that so many people with expertise were sitting at the food table, I probably would have chosen the housing table. Right. To be there too, because that's another passion of mine. They're both passions.
Right.
I'm president of both, so it's very. But at times you have to make decisions.
So one of the things that I didn't ask you was how long have you been in the Comox Valley?
15 years now.
Right. So you've seen a fair bit of change.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
And especially with the way the market went with housing and stuff, it became. We had a bit of a crisis here.
And we
Maybe
still
we
do.
still do, yeah.
We still do.
Right.
I mean, the lack of affordable rental accommodation is a huge issue. The lack of housing that people can afford at the average wage that we have here in the Comox Valley is non-existent. Still is.
Right. So you like what you see in the goals and objectives, but what do you see as the second question has to do with challenges of implementing a strategy that addresses those. So what do you see as the challenges?
The challenges, we expect the people that we elect to different positions to have a vast knowledge of every issue that affects us. And each one of us has a different expectation of these people. And the same with the staff, sitting in key staff people who are sitting in positions of decision making and advising council members on the decision that they should make. All have bits and pieces of information that they take a minute out or 2 minutes out or 3 minutes out to read a small part of maybe a whole document because that's all they have time for. Here's a document that is coming from the community that is saying, look, we have went to conferences, we've read research papers, and our experience in the Comox Valley, here's a document that brings all these things together. And so the challenge is that it will be challenging the ideas or the state ideas that have been around for quite some time and saying, no, this is what the community wants. And so that's going to be one of the challenges. It's an educational process. It's going to take time. People are going to have to assimilate the information. What does this mean? You know, what does this actually mean to me?
Right.
Because people can, 10 people can read a paragraph, maybe five might agree on what it says. And so the interpretation of what that means and how that happens, that's going to be a challenge. It is a challenge now in the valley where we have many municipalities, all of the municipalities have somewhat different rules if you were to build a house. If you build a house in Comox, there are different rules than if you build it in Courtenay. That's a challenge. It's a big challenge. We just built a house. It's a huge challenge. So when you're looking at all of these kinds of things, getting people together on the same page is going to be difficult. When we're looking at wanting to do these things and getting people online, and every municipal council needs to be working together to get it so that they all are doing what needs to be done according to what our community has said we want.
Right, well, that's a big challenge here.
That's right.
Okay, so the third question has to do with what do you see, your organization, in this case the Affordable Housing Society, how do you see yourselves working with local government or other organizations or businesses to make sustainability, and particularly the housing issue, a reality here in the Comox Valley?
Well, the Comox Valley Affordable Housing Society has worked quite closely with the municipalities. We worked with them in the Mayor's Task Force on Homelessness. We were instrumental, and I chaired the committee that wrote the affordable housing policy for the city of Courtenay. We've represented our community at all government levels, whether it be taxation, it doesn't matter. Lots of different areas like that.
Right.
And in addition to that, we work with businesses and developers and those kinds of people. I don't see that changing. We have a really good relationship with all levels of government, with our business community and with the community as a whole, so that we can always bring forward the idea, look, you need affordable housing. You need to do this, you need to do something. We've put on free conferences for staff and elected officials.
What's coming up?
Don't see that changing.
Do you see anything coming up that you guys are like?
We were waiting for this document to be coming along. Now, we have, in the past, approached every municipality except for the regional district with an idea about affordable housing. None of them have come to fruition for lots of different reasons. But it's the hesitancy, the understanding, and I believe this particular gathering is going to prove to the elected people our community does care about those people who are not doing as well as others. There's a lot of elected people, or a handful of elected people, key decision makers who don't believe that.
Right, so
and this is saying we do believe it. Over 120 or more people that are involved in this do believe that we care about our community and we want our community to be safe and healthy for all the residents who are living here, not just for a few.
Thanks, Betty Ann. We've got about a little over a minute here. This is a place for you to put something else on the table besides the three questions. You want to take a minute?
Yes, and one of the things about the 8 pillars is that they're all interconnected and each are important in their own facet. I'm going to speak about 2 of them, the Comox Valley affordable housing and food. There is no food security without affordable housing. If you are paying the majority of the money that you make on renting a $900 2-bedroom house for your family, you have no money left for food if you're making the average low income that we have here in the Valley. So if we're looking at food security issues, like I made a presentation about food security to one of the councils, which I will not name. And this was only a year and a half, 2 years ago, not that long ago.
Right.
And remember, Lush Valley Food Action Society has been working in the Valley for over 10 years now on issues of food security. And one of the elected officials asked, is this where you lock up the food? There was no concept of what food security was at that time. Also remember that we had a research project here in the Valley, and what it did is test preschool children, and then they came back later and retested them, and we had fallen in every category. And a lot of that had to do with the lack of affordable housing, the lack of good, healthy food for the children. And we ended up being the worst in all of BC.
Wow.
Food is extremely important in the brain growth of children, and where they're going to be, their maturity level, and what's going to happen to them in the future. If our valley is suffering from the lack of good food because of the lack of affordable housing, then we really need to make these priorities.
Okay, thank you. And I got to cut you off because we're out of time. So thank you very much, Betty Ann, and
thank you very much.
Thank you for watching this.